I'm a co-founder of Upnet and also the commercial lead of the company. So everything to do with sales, partnerships, customers, and of course, well, large government tenders. That is what I keep myself busy with here. And at Upnet, our slogan is to launch mission critical artificial intelligence. So we help our customers navigate massive amounts of data and uncover, key actionable insights within that data, and ultimately make well-informed decisions in real time. So before I go into too much detail about the EDF and what we're looking for, I wanted to just give you a quick introduction on who we are as a company. So we actually started as a boutique consulting firm over a decade ago. And we worked specifically with the telecom and IT industries, helping solve massive IT outages, diving into these tremendous data lakes and figuring out exactly where the key issues were happening. And during this time, we started investing into our open source product called NGNetMS, which has since been downloaded over 200,000 times. And that's when we realized, hey, maybe we have a knack for making products, and we decided to slowly start pivoting away from a consulting business to being a product-focused business. And that's when we decided to, take part in the Space Business Incubation Center of Noordwijk, which probably many of you are familiar with. There we took part in the technology transfer program, got access to some space-worthy deep tech AI algorithms, and subsequently we also collaborated with the University of Amsterdam to develop further AI modules on top of our open source product. And well, after 10 years of active product development, we decided to really then finally, create a spin-off company, Upnet, which I'm representing here today, really focused on bringing mission-critical artificial intelligence to the market. So what do? Well, we exactly build comprehensive AI products based on the decades of mission critical industry experience that we have amassed. And maybe just some three very, very key unique selling points about our approach is that we never rely on model training. Those of you who are familiar with artificial intelligence may know about the tiresome process of labeling data sets, creating training data sets. Well, with us, you don't need to worry about that. Secondly, our solutions work in real time, which is obviously a very, very relevant characteristic for the mission critical industry. If the analysis comes too late, it's useless. And finally, we also can detect unknown patterns, which means that we can detect patterns that you aren't aware of, which is ultimately very, very relevant for mission critical industries as well. The way we see it is if you know about a problem, it's not too big of a risk for you. So you want to see and detect those black swan events that might cause a massive issue for you. We have a whole number of use cases where we've applied this technology from telecom to maritime to emergency management and even in smart agriculture. These are all mission critical industries, but I won't go into too much detail about our specific use cases. Today, I want to devote some attention to the EDF. So the EDF opportunities, well, we haven't heard too much about it just yet from the other speakers. Long story short, it's a defense funding opportunity, which aims to increase the research in Europe and also improve interoperability, to improve collaboration between all European countries and also between the research, the corporates, and the SMEs. And as an SME, of course, that's very exciting for us. So I just wanted to highlight three key things that you should probably keep in mind during the networking and, well, if you approach us as well to potentially join forces here. The first one, of course, is that we need at least 3 participants from 3 different countries to partake in a consortium. If you don't have that, you're not eligible. And that's really about the fostering collaboration component. You also need to make sure that what you're doing is in line with the member states and the contributing interests of the union, as they say. Ultimately, your national delegation is also very important here. And well, finally, which is also really good news for us and probably a lot of people on this call, is that the fund incentivizes the cross-border participation of SMEs. So make sure you get to those corporates and you explain to them that by working with that you're improving their chances. About us, where do we fit into the EDF? So for those of you who have read and looked into some of the calls, there's just a very high level explanation of all the calls which are coming out. They were just released 2-3 weeks ago, and well, we have until the 24th of November to get it all done. In pink or red, I have highlighted the calls that are relevant to our company, the ones that we would like to be focusing on. And these are the cyber-related calls and the digital transformation calls. Specifically, our key call we're focusing on is shared databases for image recognition. We're focusing primarily on the thematic calls, but you also have non-thematic calls available for SMEs, as you can see in the bottom right corner, also highlighted, which you can effectively propose your own ideas to the EDF. But about the main call that we're looking for and why, well, we're participating here today, well, to foster collaboration and of course, hopefully find some consortium members here. So our primary interest is the shared databases and integrated systems for image recognition call. And on the left, bottom left, you can see a very high level explanation of the scope of this project. What the EDF aims to accomplish here is to create a database for the imagery analysis effectively, where data can be stored, shared, and annotated to very, very quickly, obviously, well, creates frameworks for that purpose. Secondly, to then on top of that database, develop software image recognition systems. This could be any type of object detection from, detecting airplanes, monitoring the condition of different soils for mission planning, etc. Thirdly, we would need to also ideally have these software systems working on the edge, so as near as possible to the sensors which are picking up the imagery as well. And finally, to also objectively evaluate the performance of the software and integrated systems. So we would like to primarily handle part one of this call, which is to create this database. And what we need, of course, is potential partners, whether you're corporates, SMEs, research institutions. Please, all of you are welcome to reach out. We're looking for expertise in object detection and, well, imagery analysis. We're looking for ground truth locations, which could help in the evaluation, and potentially as well some defense OEMs who could potentially help us test the technology on the actual devices near the sensors, effectively on the edge. A little bit about us in terms of our experience. So 14 million raised by consortiums so far Upnet has participated in. We have a lot of experience in Horizon and Horizon 2020. This number is actually higher now. I think we just crossed the 20 million by signing a new contract around 2 weeks ago. And we have a lot of relevant expertise when it comes to, well, this call. So as you can see here, we have expertise in data fusion, data analysis, data management, data preparation, yeah, so we have applications as well in even in mining, and we also have a specific platform being built in which makes use of data cubes and artificial intelligence, which is almost a civilian version of what's being asked for in this tender. So what do we need? As I mentioned, object detection expertise, ground truth locations, defense OEMs, and of course, contacts with Dutch plus European MODs. The more we have signed on to well, support our project, the higher chance we will have for success. If you're interested in joining or helping, if you think you can contribute to our consortiums, do you have connections in the industry? Are you even in the Dutch Ministry of Defense, or are you working on other calls that might be interesting to include us in? Please contact me. My details are on the screen in the bottom right. Yeah, very happy to have a chat, and well, probably also there's an opportunity to chat in the networking. So that's where I will conclude my presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Seva, for this very clear presentation. You actually wiped away all the questions that I had, so so well done covering everything. But there might be questions in the chat. Actually, there's a few people who would like to be in touch with you in the chat, so make sure you have a look at it yourself as well, Seva, please. Yeah, let me ask you this: you're an AI company. You're looking for other technical companies to be involved in the technical aspects of these calls. what other partners might you be looking for that can help you form a complete consortium that can take care of all the elements, all the work packages in these calls?
Well, well, typically, yeah, in horizon calls, I would be saying, you know, we would need some legal partners, we would need some dissemination partners, we would need some coordination partners. But due to the EDF being, and this being really specifically a research call, you know, I would say there's not much room for commercial exploitation in this activity or marketing or you know, the typical roles that we would see in these consortiums. That being said, coordination still very, very important. As I mentioned, research institutes, you know, in the Netherlands, for example, TNO, in other countries, we have other research institutes, very, very relevant here as well. I think specifically in the area of testing and validation, you know, having someone independent who can do that analysis and, well, verify if your technology works. Well, obviously, the governments will probably appreciate their input more than, you know, a self-analysis of if your technology works well. So that's probably what I can say to that.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you have any specific countries that you have been working with and that might be interested interesting for you to join in here, or is it not so much country specific?
I think, well, this, from what we've looked, this has been put on a very high priority on a European level, because it's also, it's a shared database, right? So this isn't a call that has been really originated by one particular party. It's something that is quite, well, pan-European. So I would say, as if you're a part of the EU or from a contributing state, you're very relevant here. So please do reach out. I don't think there's any country that's more important than another here.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't see any other questions in the chat, so thank you very much for this, Seva. We will share your presentation with everyone, if that's okay with you. Because there was a lot of very interesting information. That list of calls was very interesting. We will have another presentation with a list of calls, so you will all receive long lists of lots of calls that are relevant to you. So thank you for compiling that and sharing